Looks official.
Hey, Mark, it doesn't come up.
Everybody ready?
Here?
Okay. Call this meeting of the Board of Health to order. We'll begin with a roll call of members.
Mr. Gall.
Here.
Here. Member Flora.
Here.
Member Real. Here. President.
Here. We have no minutes this evening to approve. Correspondence, the Department of Health has received appeal letters from Sufficient Home LLC. That's Benjamin Robson and Amber Robson for the public nuisance property at 265 South Avenue and 275 South Avenue. The letters and appeal packets were received by the Department of Health on January 10th, 2025. And I assume since it's on the agenda, they were complete. All right. So, we will schedule an appeal hearing soon. Okay, petition and hear visitors. I don't see any visitors, so we'll move on from that. Old business. We have a nuisance property waiver to consider for a garage located at 143 High Street, which is listed as being owned by Christy D. Schlope of Bradford. This property was never entered into the public record on November 12th, 2024, when several other waivers were brought before the board for action. So I believe there's some comment on that.
Yes, Mr. President. If the board will recall, back in November, the city had a host of like 15 different waivers. We were just running through the board for approval. This one actually went through that process, was recorded at the McKean County Recorder of Deeds office, but never made it into the minutes. So just for the minutes, the city would request that number one, 143 High Street be declared a public nuisance, and number two, to approve the waiver for that property.
Okay, so you'd like new motions for those
Correct.
on these minutes?
Correct.
Okay.
I make a motion, we declare 143 High Street a public nuisance.
I'll second.
Okay, and we'll do a roll call vote on that when you're ready.
Okay, Member Gall.
Yeah.
Member Lopez.
Yes.
Member Flora.
Yes.
Member Real.
Yes.
President Pro.
Yes.
Make a motion, we accept the waiver for 143 High Street.
Second. Roll call.
Member Gall.
Yeah.
Member Lopez.
Yes.
Flora.
Yes.
Member Real.
Yes.
President Pro.
Yes. All right, we'll move on to our new business for the evening, and we will begin with 42 East Avenue, owned by Brenda J. Mark of Bradford.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. The city intends to claim Mr. Brandon Plowman as its witness. Mr. Plowman, if you could raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. And are you employed?
Yes,
In what capacity currently?
the health director for the city room,
And how long have you been in that employment?
approximately 4 months.
And were you employed before that?
Yes, I was employed by the city Bradford Funding Company.
And prior to that employment, were you employed?
Yes, I worked for a local contractor for 12 years.
So it's fair to say you've been in the construction industry for 12, 14 years, correct?
Correct.
And in your current employment, you received special licenses or certifications?
Correct.
And those certifications require renewals, whether they be on an annual basis or whatnot?
Yes.
Mr. President, I would request the board deem Mr. Plowman an expert in this field.
We will do that.
Thank you. Turning to 42 East Avenue, Mr. Plowman, you're familiar with this property?
Yes.
And to your knowledge, who owns 42 East Avenue?
Brenda Mark.
And in the course of your employment, you had occasion to take photographs of this property?
Yes.
And I'm showing you what I marked as exhibits A1 through A16. Are you familiar with these photographs?
Yes.
And these were taken by you, sir, on January 7th of this year?
Yes.
I'm showing you what I've marked, Mr. President, exhibits A1 through A16. Mr. Plowman, those photographs accurately depict the property as of that date.
Yes.
We would move to the admission of exhibits A1 through A16.
They are accepted.
Focusing now on the specific code violations of 42 East Ave, did you make any observations regarding the roof of its structure?
Yes, the roof of the structure, has been disassembled in spots, collapsing in spots, and has failed in several other spots.
And when you say failed, can you elaborate on how the roof failed?
Portions of this roof were covered by tarp at one point, and the tarp is now deteriorated and non-existent, basically.
In your expert opinion, do you feel this property is a dangerous structure?
Yes,
And why do you conclude that?
this structure has sustained a large amount of water infiltration and compromised the structure.
And do you feel that this structure is fit for human occupancy?
I do not.
And why do you conclude that?
There are currently no active utilities at this structure.
And did you make any observations regarding the exterior walls of this structure?
Yes. The windows are almost entirely missing. The entire structure.
And did you make any observations regarding the windows of the structure?
Yes, they're almost all broken, missing.
Any observations, if any, of accumulated rubbish or garbage?
Yes, there is a extremely large amount of rubbish and garbage both on the interior and exterior of the structure. It's difficult to see in pictures, but I've been up there in the past and have noticed.
Excuse me. Any observations regarding any human occupancy or any vagrants?
There has not been any indication of any vagrants there lately. I can tell you that throughout the course of being employed at the city, I have been in the structure and have noticed that people were staying at one time.
And is the structure currently secured?
It is not secure.
Okay. And all the conditions you testified to are violations of the International Property and Maintenance Code. And it's those conditions you testified to, is it your expert opinion that 42 East Avenue is a public nuisance?
Yes.
I have no further questions, Mr. President.
How long has it been vacant?
Actually, surprisingly not that long. So it looks like our city utilities, the water was terminated in October of 22. It appears that somebody is going up there and tearing this house apart slowly.
They're trying to park, attempt to reuse it or just to dismantle and get rid of it?
I would assume they're trying to reuse what was salvageable there. I'm not sure who it is, whatever they, I don't have any details as far as what's disassembled.
Not necessarily the owner that's doing it then.
No, we believe that she's living in Clareton, PA.
Oh.
And it is in the county repository. It almost appears that they had just moved out and didn't come back.
Make a motion, we declare 42 East Avenue public nuisance.
We'll call a vote on that. You're ready?
Member Gall,
Yes.
Member Lopez.
Yes.
Member Laura,
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to 78 East Avenue. Stephanie
Thank you.
Haynes of Mount Juliet.
Mr. Plowman, you're familiar with the property at 78 East Avenue, correct?
Correct.
And to your knowledge, who owns 78 East Avenue?
Stephanie Haynes.
Right. And in the course of your employment, you had occasion to take photographs of this property, correct?
Correct.
I'm showing you what I marked as exhibits A1 through A14. Are you familiar with these photographs?
Yes.
And these were taken personally by you on January 7th of this year, correct?
Correct.
And those photographs accurately depict the property as of that date, correct?
Correct.
Remove the admission of exhibits A1 through A14.
Accepted.
And Mr. Plowman, in your expert opinion, do you feel that the structure is fit for human occupancy?
I do not.
And why do you conclude that?
There are no utilities currently with this structure.
And did you make any observations regarding the roof?
Yes, the roof is important. It's difficult to tell with the snow, but you can tell that the roof does have multiple layers of shingles, and also the roofing components are deteriorated. And also, the roof around the chimney is a good example of the condition of the roof.
Did you, when observing a chimney, any code violations with a chimney?
Yes, there's, the chimney, the brick are starting to shift, and the majority of the mortar has popped out of the joints.
Did you make any observations regarding the exterior walls?
Yes, there's siding on the rear of the structure is in poor condition. It's missing siding on the front. Overall condition of the siding is poor condition.
And any rubbish or garbage accumulating?
There is some on the exterior of the structure, not a lot.
And is this structure secured?
The structure appears to be secure. You could get into the structure. There's some type of makeshift catwalk entering the second story rear of the structure, but I was not brave enough to chance it.
And did you make any observations, yes or no, regarding any human occupancy?
I did not.
And all the conditions you testified to are violations of the International Property Maintenance Code, correct?
Correct.
And all the conditions you testified to, again, in your expert opinion, would you deem 78 East Avenue a public nuisance?
Yes.
And any major improvements from January 7th to today's date regarding the property?
No improvements.
Okay. No further questions.
Do we know how long it's been unoccupied?
The water services appears to have been deactivated in 2015.
Additional questions?
I make a motion, we declare 78 East Avenue public nuisance.
Second.
And a roll call?
Member Gall,
Yeah.
Member Lopez,
Yes.
Member Real,
Yes.
President Roper.
Yes. Okay, we'll move to 25 Race Street.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Plowman, in the course of your employment, you're familiar with the property at 25 Race Street?
Yes.
And to your knowledge, who owns this property?
Marcy Lynn Taft.
And I'm showing you what I've previously marked as exhibits A1 through A19. Are you familiar with these photographs?
Yes.
Okay. And these were taken by you personally on January 7th of this year, correct?
Correct.
And those photographs accurately depict the condition of the property as of that date?
Yes.
We moved the admission of exhibits A1 through A19.
They are accepted.
Focusing on the roof on this structure, did you make any observations regarding the roof?
Yes, the roof has collapsed in several areas.
And do you feel, in your opinion as an expert, that this is a dangerous structure?
I do, yes.
And why is that?
The amount of water infiltration that the structure has sustained has caused severe structural damage and is also causing floor joists to deteriorate and at this point crack and break. The floors throughout the interior of the structure are extremely spongy. And if you were to step in the wrong place, I would pretty much be willing to bet that it will fall through the floors.
Is this structure secured?
It is not secure.
And again, did you make any observations regarding any human occupancy?
I did see some footprints in the snow behind the structure. I don't believe that anybody is going in and out of the structure. I believe that's most likely somebody probably is walking by there, keeping an eye on things.
And in your opinion, is this structure fit for human occupancy?
It is not.
And that would be for the reason you just testified to, for the water infiltration and the structural damage.
Correct.
Okay. And did you make any observations regarding the exterior walls?
Just the exterior walls, there's no section on the exterior that does not have peeling paint or, a large amount of sections on the exterior, does have deteriorating fumes.
Did you observe any rubbish or garbage accumulating at this property?
There is, combustibles on the interior.
And these conditions you testified to are violations of the property maintenance code, correct?
Correct.
And it's in your opinion, because you testified to these conditions, that 25 Ray Street is a public nuisance, correct?
Correct.
And from January 7th to today's date, any major improvements or to this property?
No.
No further questions.
Okay, I guess one thing I'm seeing in these pictures, which is kind of new, is we have two vehicles in the garage. Can we consider those vehicles abandoned? Do they have any license plates on them? Any way to identify them other than the serial number?
I would assume that that probably most likely will need to happen at some point. Miss Taft and her husband are both deceased. We have not been able to find an obituary for Miss Taft. We do know that she was in Warren, lived in Warren, most recently. But we're gonna have to do a little bit of research and find if somebody may have an interest in the vehicles.
It's not in the repository, so someone's paying the taxes?
Doesn't appear to be in the repository.
Somebody's paying the taxes. Anyway, you can check to see who's paying them? But that, where you go with the vehicles too, but it must be some error. And how long since anybody's lived in it?
The water services were terminated in 2017.
Make a motion to declare 25 Ray Street a public nuisance.
I'll second that.
All right, we'll do a voice vote on that.
Member Gall,
Yeah.
member Lopez,
Yes.
member Pecora,
Yes.
member Rail,
Yes.
President Schroeder.
Yes. And we will then move on to 11 Ascension Street.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Plowman, you're familiar with the property at 11 Ascension Street, right?
Correct.
To your knowledge, who owned 11 Ascension Street?
We have it in our records, a manual Manningham.
And you had occasion to take photographs of this property?
Yes.
I'm showing you what I have marked as exhibits A1 through A19. Are you familiar with these photographs?
Yes.
They were firstly taken by you on January 7th of this year, correct?
Correct.
And those photographs actually depict the property as of that date, correct?
Correct.
Now, we move the initiative exhibits A1 through A19.
They are accepted.
And this structure, in your opinion, is it a dangerous structure?
Yes.
And why is that your opinion?
The roof is in poor condition and the structure has sustained a large amount of water infiltration.
And you testified that the roof was in poor condition. Can you elaborate what makes it a poor condition?
It looks like, a large tree branch had broken and come down and pierced the roof in one spot. In other spots, There are sections of the roof that are missing and have failed.
Did you observe any deterioration of any structural components?
Yeah, so there's multiple spots where the, lower portions of the structure has severely deteriorated.
And it's because of those observations, do you deem this fit for human occupancy at all?
I do not,
And did you make any observations regarding exterior walls?
yeah, so on one side, the wall is bowing out. And the rest of the exterior walls are just overall in poor condition.
Did you observe any accumulation of rubbish or garbage?
Yes, there is a large amount of rubbish and garbage around the structure and on the interior.
Is the structure secured?
It is not secure.
Any observations of any human occupancy?
Yes, we've had multiple reports of squatters in the structure. I have not visited this structure while there were individuals in it at the time, but it's obvious throughout the course of my employment that this is a place that people seem to think that.
All the conditions you testified to are violations of the International Property Maintenance Code, correct?
Correct.
And in your expert opinion, based on your testimony, is 11 Ascension Street.
Yes.
Any major additions, improvements to the property from January 7th to today's date?
No.
No further questions.
I can't help but make a comment, and I just noticed the mayor pointed to it. The rather large yard sale sign ready for use laying in the house.
You never know what you'll find.
I guess that just, thank you, Brandon. Thank you for putting together these packets of pictures. As I made comment before, you're doing a great job. The pictures speak for themselves. You're giving us pictures that we can evaluate the property very quickly. And as you notice, there's not a whole lot of questions. The pictures speak for themselves.
How long is this one's occupied? The utilities or whatever.
We do the water services were terminated in 2018.
Who is this fellow, this manual fellow? Have you had any contact with him?
I have not. We have another name in our records that may somehow be affiliated with this structure.
Is this the name of the tax program now?
I believe so. This is what's in our parcel maintenance system.
This one's what is it, Brandon?
It's what's contained in our system that we use based off what county provides us.
It's not a repository.
Yes, this,
Oh, this one is a repository?
yes.
And it appears from the documentation you gave us, he lives in Kentucky. Well, his last known address that we have was Kentucky.
So I've tried to reach out to every one of these individuals. These are all structures that we basically have gotten to this point.
Make a motion to declare 11 Census Street Development.
Second. When you're ready, we'll vote on that.
Okay, Member Gall.
Yes.
Vote.
Yes.
Member Pecora.
Yes.
Member Real.
Yes.
Present.
Yes. Seeing nothing more on the agenda, if no one has any other business before the Board of Health, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
In favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Meeting is adjourned.
Okay.